At the Museum of the Palestinian People, the art, history, and culture of Palestine have found a new home right here in D.C. In a world where Palestinians are fighting to be seen, to have their voices heard, for their identities and homelands to be recognized, I wanted to come here to explore and see this new space of resilience. Bashara Nassar, Palestinian and founder of the museum, said the lack of representation for Palestinians in D.C. is what led to the concept for this special project.
Being in DC, going down on Constitution Avenue, imagine the museums on your right, memorials on your left, and I was really touched by all these monuments and memorials and how immigrants from all over the world have come to Washington D.C. to tell their stories, whether they are Italians, Jews, African Americans, Native Americans. Many immigrants have come to the city to and build institutions, so their story can be told over and over again, and not just one time. We have a wall of fame behind me, and we're showing some Palestinians in Hollywood and Palestinians in Congress, Rashida Tlaib, right? So that story is missing from a public discourse, right? The news. We are becoming a news item, so we're whether we are victims or we're terrorists, right? And this is the museum. What it's set up to do is really to transform the view of the Palestinians in the world, to show the Palestinians as human beings and not as both of these things.
The heart of this organization is grassroots. The art that they were using for traveling exhibitions even also was kind of grassroots recruitment as well. Bashara Nassar, our director, had friends in Bethlehem and other parts of Palestine, the West Bank, who were artists and who sent over their artwork to be exhibited in all of these different locations. Some of whom could come and talk about their art, some of whom could not, but their art was still here. We feel privileged that we get to curate this work that's very original. It's the first time that really the public is seeing it for a lot of this work. And it features diverse voices. So we have women, we have people from refugee camps, people from Canada, Palestinian Canadian artists, Palestinian American artists, Palestinian artists from Gaza, and from Haifa. So there's people from South Africa and Bangladesh who've said, in some way, my country's experience, my nationality, this connects to the Palestinian experience, and I'm finding my story in this story.
One key theme at the museum stuck out to me: the Nakba, or catastrophe in Arabic. The Nakba refers to the near million Palestinians who were ethnically cleansed from their homeland by Zionist forces in 1948, events that marked the establishment of the State of Israel and the beginning of its ongoing occupation of Palestine. This led to the creation of millions of Palestinians living in refugee camps and as immigrants all around the world, and a diaspora that continues to uplift this event in their culture and traditions.
The Nakba is a traumatic event in Palestinian lives and has literally changed the course of Palestinian lives forever, right? I mean, you have Palestinians who, because as an impact to the Nakba, they are living in refugee camps for over 70 years. Whether in Lebanon, Jordan, Syria. One of them, in fact, is Ahmed Hamidat, who's right now living in the Haitian refugee camp in Bethlehem. And so the impact has been big, and you can see some of the, like you said, themes is about the future, but also the Nakba has been, because one of the impacts of the Nakba is the occupation. So you can see in the exhibit, the wall is, which is one impact of the Nakba, the wall is going down, the future is, the sun of freedom is coming in, and we're experiencing freedom in the future. So definitely it is influential factor, and at the same time the Palestinians have had rich culture that spanned for thousands of years. And that's very important to highlight, that the culture has been there for thousands of years, and we are very proud with our food, with our culture, with our traditions, and that this is a place to preserve that and to have that conversation, and not just present it, but have a conversation around that with diverse audiences.